a 6'4", 260-pound Sean Rogers being celled with a 5'10", 140-pound Ricky Martin, with a release date 12 months away. March 30th, 2012. Less than a month after the death of Trayvon Martin, correction staff did their routine security checks at 7 p.m., noticing nothing out of the ordinary. 7:10 p.m., officers noted inmates being louder than normal inside of the wing, walking around to determine who was making the noise and why. Sean Rogers was standing at the cell door and told the officer, "Hey man, he's cutting himself. Y'all need to get in here and stop him." The officer could see Ricky Martin laying on the ground under a prayer rug, on his back with his arms behind his back. The officer told Martin to show his hands and stop harming himself, but he didn't respond. Blood could be seen on the cell floors and walls. In an attempt to stop Martin from harming himself, even though he was unresponsive, the officer opened the flap and deployed pepper spray. Martin responded by rolling onto his side. Now the officer could see Martin's hands were tied behind his back with pieces of white torn cloth from the bed sheets. Sean Rogers, who appeared uninjured, was cooperative and removed from the cell and secured in the shower area, where another inmate saw him drop something down the shower drain. Entering the cell, officers removed the rug covering Martin. A string tied around his neck, hands tied behind his back, feet tied together, pants pulled down, and a pair of boxers over his head. Bloody handprints on the wall near his body. Removing the boxes from his head, they now saw the brutal facial injuries. Martin's breathing becoming increasingly labored. He was transferred to the prison's on-site emergency room. On arrival, Martin started seizing. The nurse determining he appeared to have severe brain damage, gurgling blood in his mouth. His body was turned on his side to suction the blood out. As he was turned, matter, or bodily fluids, leaked out of his ear. The nurse, noticing a piece of his ear was missing. The damage was more than what she could help with, transferring Martin to a local hospital for further treatment. He was admitted with extensive head injuries, diagnosed with an intracranial hemorrhage, and given a poor prognosis. Placed on a ventilator due to respiratory failure, he had no neurological response. Over the next few days, his respiratory condition would deteriorate, developing pneumonia. 9 days after the attack, Ricky Martin was declared brain dead and taken off life support on April 8th, 2012. Sean Rogers was charged with first-degree murder, requesting a speedy trial and to represent himself in court. Moved into Ricky's cell, Sean claimed it was filthy. He started cleaning the cell, talking shit to Martin, calling him a dirty-ass cracker and filthy motherfucker. These are the actual terms used in court by Sean Rogers. He wrote aggressively before getting on the top bunk to listen to his radio. Looking down, he saw Martin started cutting himself. He thought he was doing it to get out of the cell, get transferred over to the medical wing. He jumped down and said, "What the fuck is wrong with you, man? You acting like a little bitch." Telling Martin if he doesn't stop cutting, he's gonna put his foot up his ass. Martin kept saying, "I gotta get up out of here." At that time, Rogers put a shirt over the cell window. Nobody could see in. They could only hear what was happening. 3 or 4 punches, and Martin was on the concrete floor, his face being kicked and stomped 6 or 7 times. Screams coming from the cell, desperately trying to get up as he left bloody handprints on the walls of the cell. Rogers described the attack in court. "I kicked him in the face and said, 'This is for Trayvon Martin, motherfucker.' I kicked him in the face again and said, 'This is for Trayvon Martin, motherfucker.' I kicked him a 3rd time and said, 'This is for Trayvon Martin, you pussy ass fuck boy.' I kicked him in the face a 4th time and said, 'This is for Martin Luther King.' I kicked him in the face a 5th time and said, 'This is for Emmett Till and all the other black people you crackers done killed.'" Rogers said Martin never tried to throw a punch. He was just sitting there helpless when he started attacking. When Rogers realized Martin wouldn't stop trying to get up, he ripped the bed sheet and tied him up. He then put cloth in his mouth and tied it around his head so he couldn't scream. When asked if Martin was still moving when Rogers was tearing the sheet, he said, "Yeah. Like, I don't know, I guess kind of like when you step on a roach, they still be alive, but they still be moving." Rogers described the end of the attack. By then, He was beat up bad and breathing hard, and I asked all the brothers on the wing, who wants me to kill this pussy ass cracker? A lot of them said yeah, but my little homie Y.O., Steve Young, said, big brother, don't kill that cracker, just put him on the door, which was slang for getting the inmate removed out of your cell. Roger said, bro, God going to bless you, Y.O., because I was going to kill this fuckboy on the strength. Blue Flame Midnight Crip Gang. Rogers described how Martin's gang brothers started cussing at him from behind the cell doors, threatening him about what they were going to do. Inmates testified under oath that another inmate provided Rogers with a peanut butter squeeze to be used as lubricant. Rogers admitted to sticking a finger in Martin's ass, yelling, this cracker's pussy good. When Martin screamed in pain, Rogers said, shut up, cracker, shut up. But Rogers testified he never raped Martin. He pretended he did and made the slapping sounds to piss off Martin's gang brothers, who could do nothing but listen. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you're asking yourself if I beat Mr. Martin up about the murder of Trayvon Martin, you're goddamn right I did. But there was also other factors. When I first met Mr. Martin and looked him in his eyes, I knew all for real what he was all about. He was a straight bitch, a snitch, and an undercover racist. That's the vibe he gave off.